This is the story of Janise Graham. Janise is a speaker, she's an author, founder and chief insurance strategist at Entrepreneurs Insurance Services, and she's owner of Leaving in Style, a business consulting company. She's driven to help business owners and entrepreneurs plan for and protect the future of their families, businesses, and employees. So welcome, Janise.
Thank you so much, Nan. It's such a pleasure being here.
We want to talk a little bit about what you're finding during the pandemic. And I think particularly about the business that you're in. And I'm wondering whether people are more anxious now to be sure everything is protected with their business and their personal life, or are they kind of frozen and stepping back?
That's a really good question and observation. I'm finding it's a little bit of both. So there are actually very few right now that are in the calm planning stage. Most of them are in a phase or stage of what will I do? How will I move forward? Will I get a loan? What if I don't get the loan? Maybe this is a good time for me to retire. So there's a lot of conversation that's going on, a lot of it in the heads of business owners. Some of it is being verbalized. And it's fear. It's the fear of, I didn't see this coming, but no one saw it coming. But what do I do now? And how do I change or shift? Or do I really want to do that? So it's really, at this point, a little bit more the fear than it is the calm.
So how does that manifest itself in your business?
Oh, in my business, because I have two pieces of it, I'm really seeing a shift. And it's actually a shift that I wanted to make anyway. So COVID is really forcing me to do a little less on my insurance side and really ramp up the business coaching side. I've been in the financial services industry for 25 years. This is my 20th year in business. And over the time of working in more of an advanced planning type of portion of the industry, I've noticed that a lot of business owners don't have a plan in place. And it's really difficult to talk to someone about an eventual exit or planning to leave when everything's going great. Everything's not going so great right now. So I've really shifted and really taken off and trying to educate and work with business owners and putting that plan in place. And it all comes from a sense of calm. I think that's the gift that I bring, is that sense of calm and that sense of, this is tough. It's not, but let's focus on the structure. So for one side of my business, it's kind of quiet, which is good for me because I want it that way. And it's allowing me to really ramp up and take off where I want to be, which is serving business owners and helping them put that foundation in place.
So are they putting together a business plan like when everything is going to be okay? Or is it a business plan taking into account what's happening now?
It is a business plan of taking into account what's happening now because everything's going to be okay. How about that? It is really literally taking, let's look at where we are today. What are we doing right now? What are you doing now? What do you have as a strategy? Who are you talking to? Is your client going to do the same? Is that client going to shift? If it's going to shift, how does that look in your business? And as you know, we're both members of NAWBO. I was on a social call, and there was a lady who creates sashes, and she had to quickly shift, literally pivot, after laying off some of her seamstresses to realize people need masks. So it's taking an example like that. It's like, okay, you could stand and freeze, or you can shift now and see how that's going to look in the future. It is really about looking at where you are now and moving forward. You can't look at where you are going to be in the future if you can't look right now.
So tell me some of the stories of people and what kind of businesses and some things that people are dealing with in general.
Wow. Oh my goodness. I work with several businesses in Riverside County, and some of them are literally shifting. Though I have a gentleman that actually does custom work, and he does framing, and when the idea and the thought of not being able to work has come up, we start putting out ideas as to how you can shift that business, because corporations now, there are students that are going to be graduating from colleges and high school, and they're not going to have a graduation. They're not going to have the big party. Maybe their family would pitch in and get a nice custom frame for them. Michael's isn't open. And even if they were, it's not going to be a customized frame. And his mindset is not quite open to that right now. Then there's other business owners. Let me think of one. Trainer. One is a trainer, and he was looking at ideas of how can I help people. The gyms are closed, and we were one of my dearest friends was a sales coach, and she started throwing out ideas like you could sell packages on the internet. She says, my gym is closed. I'm walking up and down the stairs with weights on my legs, and there are a lot of professionals and business owners or bottoms for 6 weeks that would love to have a custom system and a custom plan. So I have other business owners where we're talking to them about this, literally taking the technology that's being put in front of us, continuing with it in some form, and allowing your business to not only be, when it's back open, maybe it's a brick and mortar and an in-person business, but also looking at how you can use this technology. Whenever there's a crisis, I saw that one coming. And I was like, what is this about? And I realized it was about compassion. To me, that's what it was about, compassion. This time around, I sat and I go, what is this about? And this crisis is about innovation. This is about us being able to see mountains again. This is about freeways being open. This is about companies who said they could not do things remotely, doing things remotely and doing them well. This is about big business shifting. And when big business shifts, as small businesses, we shift as well. So my conversation is how can we take this tool and continue it and monetize it so that you can start getting comfortable with it. And when you reopen with a different product and a different vision.
That's a great idea. Now, are you doing a webinar on something like this?
I am. I took the analogy of a pilot because I really shifted my business because of a very dear friend of my mom's who used to fly his own plane. He's very successful in business, flew up north, dropped his son off, and was flying back and didn't make it. So I often think about, the story of Peyton and his business and what happened to his employees. And so I thought, when we get on a plane, be it a two-seater, a private plane, or commercial, when you walk on the plane, you're looking at that pilot smiling at you saying, welcome, come on in. And your thoughts are, did he sleep well last night? His eyes look, does he know what he's doing? So we look at that pilot and go, okay, he's going to take this baby up and we're going to go. Then we hit a little turbulence. And when we hit that turbulence, it's like, can he control this plane? Can we get down? When the plane lands and that entire plane claps, it's like they're all like, yay, we made it down. So I was like, you know what? It's really what we're going through in business right now. You've flown this plane, you've been successful, and you've gotten up in the air, and now we're hitting some turbulence. And what I wanted to do is talk to business owners about just shifting that structure of the business. So I created a workshop, and it's going to be on May 14th at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And the title is How to Modify Your Business Flight Plan. Because some of you want to continue to fly on. Others of you are like, you know what? I think I want to go ahead and land this plane. I want to land this plane gracefully. And I want to make sure that the landing strip is there. So yes, I'm really reaching out to business owners to get them in a place thinking about just modifying their business plan, modifying their flight plan in this case.
So are you going to record that as well? So if somebody isn't available on the 14th or comes on afterwards and hears it, that they'll be able to go on your site and download it?
Absolutely. It will be recorded. And the nice thing is I just made it at a nominal fee. It's a $37 fee for the class. But the nice thing about it, because I really want to incent business owners to not only take the class and have a conversation about their modification flight plan, but for $37, they can invite a friend. Bring someone in to with you that you can banter with, that you can take this journey together. It's almost like having someone in the seat right next to you. And if you can't make it on the 14th, it will be on demand. It will be recorded, so you will have access to it.
That'd be great. What is your website? Do you want to give your website address so everybody can go to it if they want?
Absolutely. It's www.leaving, like goodbye.
So it's leaving
In style.
in
We want you,
style.
absolutely. We want you to leave your business as gracefully as you ran it, leaving in style. So if you
.com.
go, yeah, .com. If you go to the website, just go to the contacts, put in your information. We'll be happy to get that URL over to you.
Okay, that sounds great. What are you finding? Is there anybody more vulnerable than others? I mean, we know that our mental health care workers are definitely getting a lot of stress, and we know that our physical health care workers are even having more problems. What are you finding in the people that you know?
A lot of all of that. It is not only professionals that are being affected, it's economics. There's certain sectors in our country and that are being affected, and I am seeing all of it. I work with business owners, but I have a friend that's a bus driver, and she was really struggling because number one, she's got 3 kids, and she needs to work, but she doesn't want to get sick. It said, do I sacrifice my health so that I have an income? And one of the things I learned from her, which was quite fascinating, is she said, everybody's on the bus now because the buses were free. Everyone, those who don't have a home, they would ride the bus all day. Those who still had to go to work, but a lot of times most of the people that are out of work aren't on the bus. So it's people who are in the streets or in the community that just need shelter that were riding the bus. So we're seeing it at all levels, and even from the top, even some of the larger businesses, not everyone's going to get a loan. So they have to look at how it's affecting them today, and they are being affected, and how it's going to affect them tomorrow. There's other businesses that are thriving right now because they can do their business and get innovative and create new business anywhere. But in the communities, I'm seeing the economics of the lower workers, the lower income workers, really struggling. And even going out, I try not to go out. I try to be good. But when I do go out, I've talked to the lady at Home Depot. I've talked to the lady at Walmart. And, one of the ladies at Home Depot said, all of our masks that are coming in, our company are donating them. They're donating them to the healthcare workers, which is great. She says, but we're all exposed. Now, that was a few weeks ago. So hopefully they've modified that. I'm seeing it at all levels.
I have a friend I was talking to yesterday who's from Chicago, and she has to take the bus. And she was saying that they've got busing requirements where you have to sit so many rows apart. So she was saying in Chicago, the number of people that can ride the bus has greatly been cut back. So if the driver has a full bus, even though people are waiting, the driver
Just
goes
keep
right
driving.
by.
Yes.
Did she say
Yes.
your friend that's a bus driver, any of that going on in your area?
Well, I haven't talked to her lately. When I talked to her initially, she was saying that, they were just concerned about being exposed. And a part of that exposure is folks coming on. So what they did was they just allow for them to come through the back door. They cannot
Oh,
come through the
yes.
front door.
Mhm.
Yes.
She
So
told me
I
that.
haven't talked to her lately, but as the days and weeks go on, we're seeing we're seeing rules and regulations change every day. We see it at the grocery store. We now in my stores, you can't bring in your recycle bags. So each day, each industry or they're making modifications, and I haven't talked to her since the people are coming in the back door. So but I don't doubt it. I have heard that some of the buses have to be a quarter full. And if that's the case, they will keep going.
It's interesting that some of the things I see it just from doing these podcasts and YouTubes. I see it from the time we first started doing these, which is just maybe a month ago, to now. And the things that we were like, oh my gosh, look at this. You can't get anything on the
Yes.
shelves and everybody's taking toilet paper and all these things that were going on. We've kind of all gotten in line and we know what
Yes.
the new system is. Have you found that?
Yes, yes. And even the little dots on the floor that tell you to stand back here, you kind of go, okay,
Yeah,
we
you don't think
conform.
anything about it, do you? It's just like another rule.
Another rule, conform. And put on your mask. It's funny because I was telling my husband how in business or even in public we're self-policing. So we wear our mask and you look at that person who doesn't have theirs on, as opposed to the other way around. There was a time when you go, why does that person walk around in a mask? We don't do that in America. It's so funny how we just shift and how we're going to have to continue to shift. It is going to be not a new normal, it's the next normal.
I really think that's true. I think people have talked about the new normal and then it will go back to the old normal. I
No.
I'm not so sure it will.
I am not either. I just think Howie Mandel must love this because he's a germaphobe. But I think that as Americans, we will go back to some sense of normalcy, but it will not be the old normal. We will think twice of the person that's coughing behind us or sneezing in front of us, just doing natural body functions. Uh, and even in business, just the distance. I don't mind going to the CVS store and they have a table between me and the cashier, or they have those plexiglass stuff. I think the plexiglass may be here to stay.
Well, I think there's some things that we may even like more, and that's some of the technology that you're talking
Yes.
about.
Yes.
That everybody's going to get so much more up on technology than they were before.
That is my running joke. It's like by the beginning of June, I will know Zoom, Teams, Join Me, you name it, I'll know it, and we'll all be proficient in how all of this works, how to have breakout rooms, and how to keep going. It is amazing how much you can get done. The first couple of weeks, my husband was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe you talk all day." And it's like, well, normally I didn't. I have an appointment. I get in my car. I sit in traffic. I listen to the radio. I decompress. I go to the appointment. I have the appointment. You get in the car. We had this cycle where you can, in Southern California, you may get 1 or 2 appointments in a day and a couple of phone calls. And now I'll have a call, a Zoom meeting, a Zoom meeting, a Zoom meeting, a call. And one day I overdid it. I went from 7 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. And thank goodness I had taken the day off after because I needed it. So, it's like we're learning how to be productive and learning that balance too. Because also when you're home all day, I could work all day. I'll work from the sun up until sundown to 2 o'clock in the morning and not even realize it. But it's like, okay, now I have to stop. Well, what am I going to do? I can't go anywhere. So we'll learn that balance.
Well, and the big thing seems to be, let me see, what are we going to have for dinner?
Yes. I'm
or,
sick of dinner.
or what the heck day is this?
That was yesterday, Nan. Yesterday, I had to look at the calendar 3 times. And I told my husband, I go, I need a prison calendar. He said, what is a prison calendar? I said, when you put it on the wall with the squares, you X them off as they go by. Because I kept going, is today Wednesday? Is today Wednesday? They start to really blend. Even the weekends, they all blend together.
They really do. And unless it's garbage day, which we go,
Then you
tomorrow's
hear
garbage
it.
day. I know it's Tuesday.
That's when we need that calendar. Just X it off and write it on there. I tell you.
Well, it's been so nice talking to you. Do you have anything else you'd like to tell anybody or give advice on?
Thank you, and absolutely. No matter where we are and what we're going through, and everybody says, we're going to get through this. We really are. And as I tell my daughters, I have 3 amazing daughters, and I tell them, I said, we learn best in adversity. We learn best when times are tough. We don't learn when things are going really easy and well. We enjoy them. But we learn and we persevere, and we're forced to do it. And a lot of folks that are our age are now being forced to learn technology. And it's going to be for the better, because now they'll learn how to reach out to their friends. Or you can't make it, I'm going to Zoom you, or I'm going to Google Hangouts with you. We're learning how to be better in a different kind of way. So, hang in there. And if you're in business, reach out for support, get some help. You're not in this alone. There's a lot of resources that are available to business owners, many of them through the government, believe it or not.
And attend your webinar.
And attend my webinar. You'll have a great time. We're going to have fun. I try to take tough things and make them a little lighter but effective. You will walk away with tools that you can use. And actually, like I said, bring a friend.
Well, thanks so much, Janise.
Thank you, Nan.